He was willing to hand over all his money to the robbers, but the robbers still shot and killed his beloved wife. Devastated, he lunged forward in a desperate rage, but the ruthless robber pinned him down and shot him in the spine, rendering him completely paralyzed. On the cold, hard ground, he could only watch helplessly as his wife's life slipped away until she drew her final breath. Fortunately, he survived after being in a coma for 3 months, but unfortunately, he lost all feeling below the neck. He would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, clinging to life as a broken man. Although technology in 2060 had reached remarkable heights, self-driving systems and smart homes were deeply integrated into daily life. His food, clothing, shelter, and mobility were all managed by AI systems. But the only thing keeping Gray alive with his broken spirit was the hope of finding his wife's killer and bringing them to justice. But to his despair, the robbers were clearly seasoned criminals. Even after 3 months of police investigation, there was no trace of them. Utterly hopeless, Gray returned to his home and used a robotic arm to inject himself with a fatal dose of sedatives seeking release. But the AI-controlled arm even took away his right to end his own life until a young man found the failed suicide attempt of Gray. He claimed he had a way to make Gray walk again. Gray was an old-fashioned mechanical technician. He maintained vintage cars for collectors, and the young man named Aaron was one of his clients. He was also the CEO of a tech company. Not long ago, Gray had visited Aaron's company with his wife and saw the latest creation Aaron had poured his life into, an advanced AI neural chip. Aaron's purpose was to have Gray join his human trial. But as someone who distrusted all forms of AI, Gray instinctively refused the offer.
What would she want?
But driven by the desire to avenge his wife, he ultimately agreed. However, the experiment was not government approved. It was a groundbreaking biointegration procedure. The neural chip would be fused into Gray's spine to re-establish connection to his entire nervous system. The surgery was a complete success. When Gray woke up from the anesthesia, he could clearly feel a strange yet familiar sensation in his fingertips. He lifted his hands in disbelief, examining them over and over again. Even Aaron hadn't expected such stunning results.
Now try to stand.
Like a newborn learning to walk, he ditched his wheelchair and cane, and after a period of adjustment, he could sprint effortlessly on a treadmill. After signing the NDA from Aaron, Gray returned home with mixed feelings. The feeling of standing once more made him wonder if he was dreaming. But just as he poured himself a drink to calm his nerves,
May I point something out?
Okay, who's saying that?
I am STEM.
a sudden realization froze his thoughts. Could it be that all along his actions had been controlled by the AI chip?